All right, we are going live because I got work to do today. This is Chris from GM Games. We are doing the NBGM draft. Let's get the quickly. We'll get the word out here. This, couple more spots, and off we go. This is actually pro basketball for this one. Okay. All right, so we are in the 2035 season, and let me just see what you guys see. Okay, this is the mock draft. So there is a G League star, Jared Hampton, I guess, who's now moved his way into the conversation. And now in this case, it's Jamie Stewart and Howard Barr, both of which had an amazing finals battle, Louisville, UConn. And Cards ended up winning his back-to-back championship. So Jamie Stewart, though, is an amazing prospect. We got a Bassi Haginis from Maryland, Leon Swift, Ray Sandy as some others. Point guards, here's some of the breakdown. We got Vinning from Coppin State, which is one of my teams. Ray Sandy, not that great according to Coffee, so whoever drafts him. Shooting guards, Howard Barr. You got Vince Hayden, Jay Marquise from Ohio State. Howard Barr is the best player likely there with Hampton. Small forward, Dwayne Dickens, who helped Minnesota to a Final Four with his seniors, was highly touted. Same with Lenny Wren, highly touted. They'll be going in the draft to see where they go. And power forward, not a glamorous year. Ronnie Harrelson from San Diego State is the number 2 prospect. And last but not least, that's centers, Matt McKnight, who battled Jamie Stewart in that final, had some big blocks. Not as good a player, but had a great Final Four run. So with that in mind, let's advance to the draft. As you can see below, there's a top 25 now for the next season. At the bottom, Maryland and Florida are deemed as the best teams this season off their recruiting classes. And of course, we got a little montage here that comes up. Adam Scott, interesting name there. We didn't see him in the projections, but has been the best player at VCU for some time. Following up from Brett Parmar and that legacy over there at VCU. So they're throwing some names out there in this montage right now. Who will rise to the challenge? We got more names. We need to get this going, so I don't know how I speed it up. But Lenny Wren, Howard Barr, of course. See who gets him. Now, the Toronto Raptors have the number 2 pick. Team I root for in real life and also in this league. So I hope, they get one of Stewart or Barr. At the moment, the mock has the G League star number 1. Stewart expected from CBGM to go number 1 on our side. And so with that in mind, we're getting to the draft. And here we go. Okay. Draft is going on. There's tickers on the bottom. We got our own tickers. Everything's going on here. All right, so we start the draft and we go CPU pick to CPU pick. Top pick, the Heat have won the lottery. And we'll see what's happening going on there. Hi, Breeze. Yeah. So you're following us a bit. Jamie Stewart was in that finals with Cards and Kev. And he's going to be good. CPU pick right now, the Miami Heat, they take with the top pick of the draft. It is going to be Howard Barr. Big trade here, actually. Tubbs and McRae. Dan McRae, an old first overall. But Howard Barr, shocking. He wasn't even in the top 5 of the mock. But the Miami Heat have gone with Howard Barr. Jamie Stewart has been defeated again. They went guard. He's a champion, Howard Barr. Interesting. Very interesting. And the Raptors will take Jamie Stewart. All right, so the rebuild is on in Toronto. They got one of the best bigs that may ever play this game. Howard Barr went before Jamie Stewart. What a story. Howard Barr just keeps one-upping Jamie Stewart throughout his career now. And we'll see who else has the best career going forward. So the clip at the number 3, they're going to take next Dwayne Dickens. I know I had discussed since he was the number 1 overall recruit, not the best camp player in the college season, that recruiting year, but number 1 rank, that he would be respected by the pros. The potential is there for Dwayne Dickens. So he's going number 3, Dickens to the clip. And next up we have Lenny Wren. So this is a good... These are some smart GMs right now. So Lenny Wren had a really big year, 21 points at Hughes. Now we'll go into the pro game and see how he does. Just a reminder for anybody, if they want to see the website about, where you can learn more about our college players, or we just sim observational league like this to the pros, I pasted a link in the chat. And you can check out some stats and some news about them in the pro game. Okay, next up for the Knicks at the number 5 spot, they go with Jared Hampton, this unknown from our side, from the G League. I haven't really looked at the scouting of the entire draft, but it was projected at some point by some to be the best player. I don't know who does that mock draft, but he was at number 1, but now he goes at number 5. So now the Pistons, who just won a championship, have 2 first-round picks, the number 6 and the number 8 pick. And, they were close to getting into the top 5 as well. So with that in mind, the Pistons select Abassi from Maryland. So he was projected to be a top 3 in that mock draft that we saw earlier. And Abassi goes to the Pistons here. So that'll help them as the rich get richer and that team evolves. Zion is getting old now. Zion's in his 30s. And so that next pick, Zion is on the Pistons, just to clarify. But the Pels are up now, where Zion used to play at some point. You can see the team at the bottom a bit, the rosters at time. But who will they take? They're going to go with Brian Kraft. So another unknown, based on G League stats. They don't just pump up G League stats here, so you don't really know what's going on with that. But you get their rankings, you see what's going on a little bit. All right, we're on to the next pick. The Pistons' second reinforcement now after their championship will be Vince Hayden out of Texas, quality player. I'm sure Grant will attest to that. Vince Hayden is the number 8 pick. So we're working our way through the lottery here. We're into the 9th pick right now. The Knicks, their second pick of the first round, of the top 10 as well. They're going to go with Matt McKnight. So the champion with Howard Barr, the contributor that did a lot to kind of disrupt Jamie Stewart enough so that he didn't have an undefeated season and just dominate. So Matt McKnight is selected in the top 10. Shows the quality of talent they think he might have because of his disruption. And next up, Marquise Rhodes from Baylor. So I don't know that much about this guy. I'm not too sure about that. All right, so next up, we're at the Milwaukee Bucks at the number 11 position. And with that in mind, the Bucks are going to take Adam Scott. So we didn't see him on the top by position, but Adam Scott getting the respect. I'm sure, the guy's name is in our league. That he expects a lot from Adam Scott. So Adam Scott came in, replaced Brett Parmar. Didn't get them back to the Final Fours all the time, but still quality VCU talent going there. Suns number 12. Avi Hicks. This is a guy that is another G League player, G League Ignite, and don't know much about him, but you can look at a little bit about his scouting report there on the top left-hand corner. And next up, we got the Dallas Mavericks going at number 13. Completely rebuilt teams. They just traded for McRae at the bottom. Let's see who they go with. They'll go with Ray Sandy. Coffee's got a lot to say about this guy, Ray Sandy. I know nothing about him, but Butler didn't scare anybody this season. Ray Sandy. Okay, next up, Warriors up, 14 pick. What do they got now? They got guys they need to sign. They're aging. Matt Majerus from Florida State will join the Warriors now. So, well past the three-point line range, it says. And so he's a guy to look forward to in Golden State. Next up, Hornets. We're almost out of the lottery now. Is Joe Smith. Very common name, but from North Carolina. I've actually changed our name DB a bit. I've tuned down a lot of the names that have 40 times chance probability, like Smith, Brown, da-da-da. So it's going to be a very unique name database as we go forward a bit. People have seen the words before, but the frequency of the ones thrown together, it will be less likely to just see the same last names all the time, at least, and first names. Okay, next up, Blazers 16, Ronnie Harrelson from San Diego State. So the TV guy D, one of his players here, are being drafted pro by the Blazers at the number 16 pick. Next up after that, with the Sac Kings, 17, they go Charlie Smith from Notre Dame. Didn't have the kind of glorious career that some Dame teams have had, how dominant they've been in the past. But a quality player nonetheless. T-Wolves 18, they're going to go with Vinning out of Coppin State. So one of my players, I have to say, has terrible field goal percentage, but apparently he has this elite crossover. Handles are very well, not elite, it says nice crossover. But was a top 25 recruit. Didn't have high SAT scores and ended up going to a low SAT school of mine in CBGM. So next up, the Thunder at number 19. They're going to go with Adriel Spears, another member of an important Louisville championship team. Didn't stand up too much. I remember Jensen a bit more, doing more with Barr and McKnight, but Spears was a contributor, and they're always good prospects. So he's going to the Thunder. They're going to try to work with him, make that happen. Cleveland's up next. Cleveland's going with Eric Dotson out of Kansas. So we're almost to the end of the first round soon. And we're going on the 21st pick next. And with that 21st pick, it's going to be with the Jazz, Andre Williams out of St. Mary's. So Chuck has one of his players getting drafted, Andre Williams, in the first round, number 21. Now, I can't think of any big names that we thought we might have heard yet, but we didn't see them come up. I know there's like super giant mega stars at the top, but after that, I'm not sure. So Spurs 22, they're going with Johnny Ray out of Coppin State. So very disappointed in this player in terms of his selfishness. Just doesn't shoot that many shots. Played pretty productive with the shots he took. Was a low SAT player, obviously, and then one and done, but did not move the dial for Coppin State enough to really do a lot of damage. So the Knicks with their third pick in the first round, and they're going to go with Matt Robinson out of Nova. Okay, so the Raptors pick up Waldman, one of my players from Coppin State last year. They just made a trade. They're giving up a second, Fred West as well. And the Raptors will add Waldman to go with Jamie Stewart as their new front court. So that should be interesting. Waldman was all right. Not sure how good Fred West is or the second round pick, but the Raptors are active in rebuilding their team at the moment. Next up, Larry Herron from Florida. So that was a name that was supposed to go somewhat in the top 20. He's got 24 now out of Florida. And the Chicago Bulls take Larry Herron in the draft. And after that, we got the Blazers are back on the clock, their second pick of the first round, and they're going to go with Cedric Denson out of Baylor. So Baylor had a nice run again in the tournament and kind of got written off a little bit. This guy's stats are not that spectacular. Must be coming off the bench, but they see potential, a project in him. And next up, we got the Clip at the 26th spot, Ron Lavin out of Villanova. So Nova's second player in the first round. So that's just a sample who runs this Nova team. All right, we got Lakers, Dog Wiz, and Sixers up next. Lakers are going with Jerry Ratliff out of the G League. Big mystery to us. We don't know much about him. Well, shoots good free throws is the first thing they wrote. I'm sure that's every team's dream. Consistent charity stripe. Okay, Nuggets definitely have won championships before. Who's going to help their team? Let's check it out. It's going to be Ross Cummings out of North Carolina. He's going to be added to the Nuggets. I don't know anything about this player. 7 a game. It was an AI team. They recruited some guys on the side. No idea what their talent is like. We're almost at the end of the first round. Wizards, who had 60-plus wins somehow with Tyronn Lue as their coach. Jacob Sid being a big reason for that. They're going to go with Mark Creighton out of Florida State. Center, good stats. I think we haven't heard about Matt Alford. Some seniors, some names out there. The 5 stars from Coppin State, they normally go first round. There's a lot of potential there. Teams know that. And this is Luka's at the end of his career here. He's in Philadelphia. They're going to pick the last pick of the first round, a G League player. All right, so we're into the second round. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to move this pretty quick. Next up, after Philadelphia, first pick of the second round by the Heat, Howard Barrs, joined by Cedric Vidoni out of St. Mary's, decent player from what I recall. 11 a game. Seeing him being recruited at some point. So Cedric Vidoni. And Clippers up next. They go with Andrew McLean out of Baylor. And McLean's stats aren't great. I don't know. He was some mock draft had him as the top 5 guards at his position, but yeah, maybe. Next up, Pacers, second round, Damon Holcomb out of Florida. So the second drafted player by Bubba and the Gators. Second round, though. And after that, we're at the Hawks, Bob Bass. So I know this name very well. I've seen him around for a long time. 18 a game. Out of Arkansas, so that's Warlords player. He's going to the Hawks. Ball Bass in Atlanta. All right, Magic up next. AJ Wright, big trade, no, somewhat of a trade. Aging players. Gladio's not bad. Bagley, though, for the second. So Gladio moves to the Wiz. Clippers get a second round pick. AJ Wright's now selected from Kansas. And we're at the Nuggets now. They're going to add Leon Swift, North Carolina, third player drafted by North Carolina today. And up next after that, Pelicans take Larry Jensen off that championship team. So I'd mentioned his name was relevant at some point. He did have a really good game in the Final Four. Not the championship, but he just kind of really stepped it up in one of his games in the Final Four as well. And after that, we got the Nets, Victor Wilson. What else we got after this guy? So G League here, 38. Hey, Gilead, welcome to the chat. Yeah, might as well play it back. I'll get it online as soon as I can. So Detroit Pistons, after that, adding to their championship team. Heron just got traded after being drafted. So this is a swap of their first round picks. Florida player going for the San Diego State player. Seems kind of silly. One was picked a lot earlier than the other one. But they get a second rounder. Someone really wants to draft someone in this spot. So Kenny Walton. Don't remember. Oh, Baylor. Okay, it's from Baylor. Okay, next up. Pacers going with Greg Steele out of Creighton. A team of mine once upon a time, a long, long time ago. But one of their players at 18 points a game. In the second round. Next up, Bucks, Alabama A&M. So Cliff Hartsfield declares for the draft, but then in the end, didn't make it into the first round. Stats are not, too crazy. Anyway, Suns up next. Jay Marquise, one of Ohio State, was projected to go much earlier based on the mock drafts of their positions. And next after that, Pacers have another pick. Tremaine Persinger out of Maryland. A guard with 9-10 points a game. And after that, Owen Stallworth, Texas A&M. Didn't play much at all, 1 point a game. So we're almost towards the end of the draft. Hornets, 45th pick. They go with Lewis Thomas, second VCU player drafted. 20 points a game. Wow, to join Adam Scott as well. Very interesting. And next up, Sixers take Rob Spurgeon. Trade going on. Jazz Nets. Small deal. Not familiar with those guys. So Marquette. They have a player drafted here by the Sixers. Rob Spurgeon. Larry Murray. So this guy was important to the run of Minnesota. I believe Matt Alford is also still in the draft, but Larry Murray is drafted. He's going to the Kings. Very much important in that Final Four run, having to face Louisville. Didn't lose to anyone else except just Cards. And then T-Wolves, they go with Victor Hand out of Kentucky. horrible stats. I'm not sure what they're looking at out of this guy. And Thunder go Jody Barnes out of Kansas. And next up for the Thunder, oh no, that was their pick. Pistons again, do they get any other help? Alex Nicholson out of Ohio State. So I believe some ads are coming up. You can't avoid it. It snoozed it 3 times, but we're late in the second. But catch the end of the draft. We got Nets going next. Ahmad Brinker out of South Carolina. So Saralu gets a player drafted here, Ahmad Brinker. And Magic in the second round, they go with Dana Williams out of Louisville. This is the 4th or 5th player drafted by the Cards. And where are we at now? We're at 53. Nuggets will add Roderick Oreniuk. This is one of my guys off Arizona State. I think this guy has solid defense. A bit old though. He's a senior, might be like 22 now. But Roderick Oreniuk is a very good player out of Poland. And he's drafted. So the Heat now, their next pick is Dan Tan, UConn. And after that, we are with Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls will take Stanley Griffin out of UNLV. And after Stanley Griffin, we got Inokenti Volekov out of Baylor. So 17 points a game. I didn't realize this guy played that much, but was a big contributor to Baylor in the season. And Warriors are going with Todd Honte out of Purdue. So Spider as a player drafted here late in that round. We got 2 picks to go. So not irrelevant if you're in CBGM. You definitely want your guys drafted. Jerence Grauer out of Michigan. So Dave Galindo gets a draft pick here. Only 2 possible picks left. And Matt Alford not drafted at the moment. Peter Cook, OK State. So Chuck gets one more player here drafted. A guard with 20 a game. And last but not least, OKC to wrap up the draft. James Finger, Norfolk State. Ultre is the one who gets it. Ultre gets it. Gets a player drafted, James Finger. So congratulations to him. And that's a wrap of the draft. Thanks everybody for participating, and take care.